I was going to ask what medium you prefer, film or games, but I mean, you're mostly a filmmaker.
Yeah, I would say that, though on paper it doesn't make sense. I mean, on paper, like you go on IMDb and it's like, Graham Reznick is a sound designer. I've probably spent less of my time sound designing than anything else, but I just have a lot of credits, you know, for whatever reason. Probably the thing I've done most is write games. It's, you know, been 15 years since I started and have written 8 games and, you know, 10,000 pages per game. Something, you know, some huge amount. But I think, yeah, at the core, for me, any medium that is creating stories in people's minds is interesting to me. I'm a big fan of, and I've had the luck and pleasure to work with my friend Sam Barlow, who did Her Story, and then just a lot of great narrative games that are very unexpected. And he's someone who's also like, is he a filmmaker or is he a game designer? He's a game designer, but he is also a filmmaker, and he's also found a way to, in a very different way than Supermassive, you know, blur those two lines. So whatever that is, I think that's where I am as well.
So you've worked a little bit in VR too. There was The Inpatient, which was like a spin-off of Until Dawn. You know, what do you think about VR as a storytelling platform? Or do you think there's any... I've noticed it's kind of like trying to make a comeback, like Apple Vision Pro. Apple's invested a lot in these like immersive videos. They're kind of short form. Yeah. What do you think about VR as a storytelling medium?
I think it's really potent, just like I do with 3D. I think that to blaze a really impactful and long-lasting trail, it needs to become accessible beyond, I think, the price point that it is at the moment, and that it's been historically for VR stuff. When I first started getting into doing 3D in 2009, it was before Avatar came out, but there was some 3D stuff. It was like on the upswing, and we were just being told left and right, like, it's too expensive. You can't make a 3D movie for under, like, you know, several $1 million. You need more lights. You need all this stuff, all these special sync cameras that, you know. We just borrowed 2 Panasonic HVX200s from, you know, Glass Ipix, the company I worked for, had one, and a friend of mine had one. We literally bolted them to a wooden board, figured out the interocular distance, shot the left eye and shot the right eye at the same time, and then put it together in After Effects, and it cost $600.
I've seen it. It worked.
Thanks. It's rough around the edges, but like it, you know, it wasn't. And I think that can be true of VR to some degree, but it is the barrier of entry. You can't just buy 2 cameras and suddenly have VR. It's different.
Although now they have camera. Like I remember early VR cinema, you had to build your own camera.
Right. Yeah.
Now you can actually buy off-the-shelf cameras.
Yes.
And I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's a commercial camera that can do the Apple Vision Pro immersive videos now. I think before the Apple Vision Pro came out, they were kind of cagey about the camera, but I think now you can get one to do that kind of stuff.
I think it's really interesting, and I would really love to work in that medium more. An interesting thing came up from a legal standpoint when we were signing contracts for probably The Inpatient or maybe Hidden Agenda or one of Man of Medan. There were exclusivity clauses in those contracts, and one of the things that was a sticking point at the time was that we couldn't work in interactive, but I was involved with a bunch of VR development, linear VR development. So they weren't games, they were linear stories, but I wanted the word interactive struck from our exclusivity content and replaced with like video game company, because to me anything in VR is interactive.
Yeah, you could look
you're
around,
choosing where to look. You're you know, choosing what to focus on. Therefore, it's interactive. So it's not entirely passive. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's really, I don't know. There's a lot of unexplored potential there that I hope we get to see some interesting. You know.
Yeah, I always think about that movie. Do you ever see the movie Hardcore Henry? Is that the movie?
I remember it, but I didn't see it. Yeah.
I thought that movie was great.
POV, right? Like,
yeah, the entire movie was POV.
Yeah.
But of course, it's a movie, so it moves to where, you know, you're looking,
right.
where he's looking at all times. But This was one part of the movie. A spoiler alert, but there's a part of the movie where, like, towards the end, he's trapped in this building, and these bad guys are just crashing through the windows, coming after him, and he's shooting at him. And I was watching the movie, and I was like, I empathize with that. I've been in that situation many times in a video game.
Yeah,
because the whole movie was like a video game.
Yeah. Do you remember in The Beach, that one part where Leonardo DiCaprio thinks he's in Doom?
You know what? I have not seen. Now I'm going to watch the movie. I have not actually seen that movie.
I haven't seen it since the theater, but I always remember that part, and it was like, oh, huh. This works as a gimmick. Could this work as a real thing?
Well, there was the Doom movie where they did the brief first person mode, which was the best part of the movie.
I prefer the novelization of Doom.
Yes. I'm sure they'll give it another try.
My preferred medium for dooming.
Yeah.
It even runs on books.
Yeah, it runs on everything.